Let's begin with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I now invite Mehdi Naqvi to begin tonight's program with recitation of the Holy Quran. Allahumma salli ala
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتوصل بالحق وتوصوا بالصبر. By time, indeed mankind is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds and advised each other to truth and advise each other to patience.
So, a couple of announcements. This is more for those who are in person here and also online. Every year, the center has a raffle fundraiser where they send, I think they have 4, maybe 5 prizes that they have. One prize is a full airfare, including ground fare. One is just airfare, and the other one is ground fare. And then there's also 2 other prizes, I believe, of $500 that would go to your ziyarat for Arba'in. So this is a fundraiser. All proceeds to this goes to the center. This year it is transferable. So if you win but you can't go, but you have another family member who can go instead, you can transfer that winning or that ticket to that particular family member. In order to purchase, I believe it's $25. Yeah, it is $25 per ticket. But if you purchase, if you pay $100, then you get 5 tickets. You get 1 ticket free. In order to you can send your money directly to Brother Jafar Naqvi, or you can also Zelle the money as well. He can give you the details of how to do that. He's upstairs. What else? Maulana, I was looking at Slido today. I see a bunch of questions. I see. I'm not sure how many more there were, but I saw some activity there, so I think this is good. So let's, Brother Muhammad, you would like to recite something? Would you like the podium? Yeah. Salawat. Allahumma.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Peace with sception and hope I seek, congruity scope I know is bleak. To mend I crave rather than kill, to spill blood abhor I will. Intend I do no force to use, if sensed in you I can infuse, but the rule supreme of the divine faith. Resolved I am to defend till death. Face your hostile moves I will. Thought or accord I covet, seek peace still. A holy war in me it means indeed, if waged to crush the devil's creed. No rancor against you I hold, but faith do cherish as I told. Islam I will resolutely shield, burnt will stand and never yield. Would welcome death and make it tame, would rather die than live in shame. Your prophet's Skiana I'm, at least some regard to his name show. His singular dictum is my creed, Universal good I adore, indeed. Ali the paragon, the seraphic imam, champ of the faith, the shield of Islam. Inimitable, impeccable, I am his son. His peerless attributes I have won. My heart is virtue's abode and nest. Blessedness harbors in my breast. Muhammad came in the kingdom of Allah as a messenger of peace, as the master of creed. He influenced the world with Ali's help and all the sons from his daughter's breed. Fatima, the lady of Allah's paradise. Ali, the warrior, the leader, the wise. Hassan, the higher of eternal lore. Hussein, the martyr, the heaven's door. Call Imam Ali, alayhi salam, in the trouble, Almighty says, because in his presence the evil decays. He's the lion of Allah, he's the sword of God, and all his believers are one righteous squad. Islam's prosperity is the gift of Hussein. In the way of Allah, he sacrifices clan. He gave his head, but not his grace. His martyrdom is a slap on the devil's face. The grandson of Prophet decided to fight, to unveil the Satan and bring him in light. The food was banned, the water was stopped, but on his mind the triumph had topped. Bibi Zainab was with her brother all the time and participated as much to demolish the crime. Her surety was Hazrat Abbas, the holder of the flag, whose hand on the emblem is the victory's tag. The thirst was a menace, the hunger a threat. An example for all the mankind was set, but the righteous fought and died on the
Nothing, a being which is created from non-living elements, has the ability to make or to know the right and wrong in this world. And then he was giving this power to make a conscious decision where to go. Should he continue to the path of completing himself or fall back to the stages he passed, right? So that's what we covered. And then we entered to another state, and where we said that, okay, after that, if the Rasul Batani, or things which are instilled in our body and in our spirit, to listen to Allah's commands and kind of forge or make our life according to the Allah's commands or Sharia, right? So this is kind of a recap. I hope that everybody had a mental diagram for that, because I don't know if you doodle it on the paper or on your cell phones. But inshallah, we'll have the mental diagram. If I'm a good, a person who can make charts or anything, I would have made a chart for you. But again, like I said, I'm not calling myself a teacher, but a good teacher doesn't do the homework for their students. So this is a student, if you can make a mental chart, or if you need the notes or the terms, inshallah, I'm going to give it to you. Try to put it like the sequence of discussion, we kind of explain it in this majalis, if you can do that. Please recite salawat. From that, we reach to the idea, or to the discussion, not the idea, that now, when a person is in a tranquil, is in peace, is in a solace, he has gained this state for himself where his spirit, his soul is in peace. His soul or his nafs is in peace with himself and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because now he believes that whatever Allah ta'ala does for him, he's okay with it. And because of that, he kind of like passed two more stages, which we said, like there were radhiya wal mardhiya, where he is okay with whatever is happening in his life, and whatever he is doing, Allah ta'ala is okay with it. Not only okay, but happy with it. And that state is the pure state of pleasure. And that's what we were trying to do, and say that these tranquil souls of Karbala and Imam Hussein, in the time of Ashura, on the day of Ashura, in Karbala, in the 61st century Hijrah, their feeling and their status and their mindset was this: that they were happy, not only radhi, not only okay, but happy what was happening to them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was happy of what they were doing at that time. There was a state of pure pleasure. That's why when Bibi Zainab salamullah alaiha said that, "Ma ra'aytu illa jamila," that's what it means, brothers and sisters. That's what it means. They were seeing that, and that's what Bibi Zainab said. That's what Bibi Zainab saw. But then we came into the discussion. It's a whole recap. Brother Ali missed it, but inshallah he can read it. He's doing a better job than me, bringing people here. Please recite salawat for him. So this is like, I gave them a homework. You have to collect the homework later on. So after Ashura. I'm here till like after almost 10 days after Ashura, I'm here. So I can check the homework, inshallah. Please recite salawat. So we entered this stage that these stages cannot be done unless we are attached ourselves to Aimma alayhimus salam. And we kind of brought some proofs, but those proofs were not aqli proofs. So that's just to make one point here. Before that state, whatever I kind of tried to discuss here was kind of a philosophical and aqli. I didn't mention a lot of ayat and ahadith there. So when we study Islam, we have two ways to study Islam, or the Sharia, or the laws, or the world, or the reality, whatever you want to study, especially in Islam. One is aqli, the other one is naqli. It's not the naqli Urdu. It's not like ja'ali, it's not like fake. Naqli means something which is written down, which is narrated by Aimma alayhimus salam or by Quran. So any proof which is from ayat and riwayat is a naqli proof. Right? I shouldn't say naqli, I should say naqali, so it makes some difference there. Please erase this Urdu naqli from your heads. It's a Arabic naqali, like naqal, like narrated things, right? And the other things which we did before, when we were talking about nufus and all those things, they are kind of aqli proofs, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made us from clay, has the right to give us the guidance. And as a matter of fact, not in that sense, he is responsible, not the duty of him, but responsible to give us the path to follow this spiritual journey. Those things we kind of try to prove on the aqli basis. After that this path is Aimma alayhimus salam, we took advantage, or we used the naqli dalail, or the narrations, or things which are written. Doing that, we reached for to the last night, the one hadith which we were discussing was about who the imam is, right? That's the hadith of Imam Baqar alayhi salam. Please recite salawat. Where he says that إنما يعرف الله عز وجل ويعبده من عرف الله وعرف إمامه منا أهل البيت. Right? Anybody who wants to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who wants to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has to know him through us, through an imam. That imam who came from us, minna ahl bayt. So anybody who wants to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or marifat of Allah, and follow Allah's commands, he needs to do it through his imam, like the imam appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that imam appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is amongst us. Right? So this is actually kind of in a nutshell, the aqidah of Shia, that we believe in imama. And if for my younger brothers, that, sometimes this question comes that, Maulana, what's the difference between Shia and Sunni? I mean, Sunnis are, so first of all, Sunnis are our brothers, but there is a intellectual difference there. It's not only political, it's more than political. Yeah, you can say that, okay, who was ruling who can rule in Islamic society? We believe that Imam should do it. They said any Khalifa which is appointed by human beings, or they have like different ideas there. But we say that just like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Imams are chosen by Allah as well to rule us. And he is our political leader and religious leader. And more than that, he is one through which we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So passing these two things, that he is a political leader and the religious leader, who is going to teach us how to live our life, both like on regular basis and on the Shah-E basis. He is the source for us to link to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for that, we need to link ourselves to an imam. If we don't link ourselves to an imam, we won't be able to reach Allah. And if in our, thinking that we are linking ourselves to an imam and we are not reaching to Allah, then we have linked ourselves to someone else, not an imam. And if we are thinking that we are reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without linking to an imam, then we are not linked to Allah either. Did you make the distinction with these two things, or it became really complicated for all you brothers? Please recite salawat. If we have the, instead of milk sharbat, we will have like espresso outside, it will be better for this majlis, right? Please recite another salawat. Anything, in simple words, any way which we think leads to Allah other than through Imam is not the right way. Anyone we believe in that he is going to connect us to Allah other than Imam, then that's not the right way either. Giving the example that those people who believe in the Tawheed and their Tawheed is so awesome that they don't even say anything but Ya Allah, that's it. Or we went for Umrah and there was one brother, he was trying to, Hujjaj tried to kiss the Maqam Ibrahim and everything is holy there. And this lady was saying, Haji, Haji, sirk hai, sirk. Like he said, like, shirk, don't do this. And she was saying that the other Muttawa who was standing there, yeah, you're right. This shirk. Don't kiss Maqam Ibrahim. Only kiss Kaaba and Hajar Aswad. That's it. Why? Because if you kiss anyone, then you're doing shirk. So I kiss my child and I'm doing shirk. Right? No. They have this mentality that if you kiss them like they're holy and they're thing, you think that they're like Allah, which is a really, really, I don't know what to call that. It's sadeh, it's really simple-mindedness of Muslims, as they think that anything you love, like you're supposed to love Allah, well, of course, the love of Allah should be better than anyone else. But like in this scenario, that you love it religiously, then it's a shirk. So when they reach Allah, you can see what kind of a Allah and what kind of a Shariat and what kind of a religion they preach. Intolerant one. Dry. Which has no love, which has no growth. It's a dead religion. Because the Tawheed they are defining is not right Tawheed. They are labeling it as a Tawheed. That's not a right Tawheed. That's like you're not thinking that there's any wasila or any way to a destination. That's not possible. On the other hand, if we do Ya Hussein, Ya Ali, everything, and we don't see Allah ever in our life. Na'uzubillah, if you see Allah on the other corner of religion than Imam Hussein, then that's not the right Imam Hussein I believe in. If I believe that Allah is there to say, okay, do this or do that, and if you don't do this, I'm going to send you the Jahannam, then Imam Hussein will come and say, no, don't do this, he's my Shia, I'm going to take him away. So, na'uzubillah, I mean, sometimes, inshallah, we don't think in this way. In our mind, this God, this Allah is harsh, while Imam Hussein is like a lenient mother, right? We came from Desi household. Usually the father is always harsh and the mother is always lenient, right? I mean, that's the case for us. Maybe it changed now. It's changed, right? It's opposite, like my brother is saying, mashallah. So we are kind of progressing in the wrong way. Please recite another salawat. It's because, the father goes there and the man has to be man, but right now the definition of man or woman are changed. Even everything is changed, so it doesn't happen overnight, brothers and sisters. It is instilled there. Talking about, let's say, well, these are really difficult terms, gender identities or gender roles, not identities, roles in an Islamic household is a big problem. If you say that, okay, no, I was just listening someone that someone was saying something about gender roles in the majlis, and they said that to a girl that the women are designed in the way they stay home and the man is to provide. And the girl, she was a really young girl, she said, I get offended by when you're saying this, that I'm going to stay home after getting married and my husband is going to provide me. So my wife said that I was so astonished that if anybody say this to me, I'll be so happy, right? Everybody would be happy. But now when you go to the, when you don't know where you're going, when you don't know who is teaching you, these kind of out of the way, out of the blue things come in our society. These concepts are instilled in our mind, and all of a sudden we say, okay, there are actually no genders. It started from no gender roles to no genders. I'm not saying the gender roles are set in stone, but I mean, can we talk about this? Yeah, we should, right? Rasulullah didn't say that it's wajib for Fatima not to go outside and it's wajib for Imam Ali to, what the hadith says. But he recommended both of them that you stay home and Ali is going to go out and provide for you. This is the Muslim household. Don't come to me. I do these things so my slider will be lighting up. Maulana, can I not work? Should I send my wife outside for work? No, Baba. If you have this question, inshallah, I'll answer you. But this is not what I mean. But have an idea what we are, right? Otherwise, we are going to end up, and believe me, brothers and sisters, it looks like far away, only non-Muslim people, especially the white people, are doing these things and having these ideas and generating these ideas and cultivating these ideas, but they are cultivating in our minds too, our children's minds. These ideas are there. We have to have the answer for that. Sometimes the answer is not this, that Allah is not going to be pleased with that. This person doesn't even know Allah. This person believes in Allah who will just come and seal whatever or approve whatever he is thinking. His mental Allah is this. He didn't create any Sharia. He is not going to put anyone into Jahannam or Jannah. Nothing is there. Only to give a really big approval, he's sitting there and just approve whatever you want to do. Just like Catholic Church right now. I don't know what happened. That's what I've heard, that they're going towards this thing too, that no, nobody's going to go to Jannah. Everybody's lovely. You can do whatever you want to do. Please say salawat. In short, these things don't happen overnight, brothers and sisters. We need to know that when we go astray from the right path, that's what happens. You leave imama, that's what happens. What happened to the other Muslims, alhamdulillah, why they're still saved? They probably unknowingly attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through imamat. They might not believe in imamat, they don't believe that imam is a masoom, but the religion they have, if you listen to their talks, the love they have for Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, love for Imam Hussain, they unknowingly are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Imam Hussain. There is no other way, brothers and sisters. You call it Jabr, I don't care. It is a Jabr here. Allah ta'ala has given us only one route towards Him. And that is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his progeny. That's it. So, but the prerequisites, or actually not prerequisites, the essential things which we have to do to make this connection, just remember that example that we have to drive to the airport to catch the plane. We have to drive it, right? We have to make some effort. We cannot think that the commercial plane should land on my rooftop and I'll just get up one night, sit on it, and then go to Makkah. No. I have to make some efforts on my own. The biggest effort is what? And the most essential effort is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Please recite the salawat. I'm not going to read the whole hadith. Asma'u wa ati'u. Listen and follow. That's what we reached yesterday. I just did that was the whole recap till yesterday. But we need to know these things so we know, because the thing is we started from a really different way and we are moving it in different directions. So that's why everybody has to go together. We have to do, come to some conclusion. Although I was just thinking that this discussion is not going to be end after 2 majalis of mine. But we are going to try to end it. So we're trying to end this discussion kind of forcefully by making some things which we can get and which will be kind of practical in our life, which we can practice in our everyday life. If we can get this thing, that's what Rasulullah wants us from us, that for an imam we have to listen and follow. If we don't do it, we will continue what's happening to us, specifically Shias, for the last 1400 years. We're going to repeat the whole thing all over again. Of course, not with the Shahada of Imam, because Allah Ta'ala has preserved last Imam. But the Zuhur of Imam is not going to happen if I don't change myself. If we don't change our, actions. or theory or philosophy. One more thing, inshallah, I'm gonna like a tabarrukan, and as a matter of fact, to help my discussion, I'm gonna take this hadith from Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, and then we're gonna go forward. Please recite salawat. This is a really mashhur hadith, and a lot of people say, and we as a Muslim, Shias, say this. I hope that brothers are writing the notes when they have their cell phones out and they're typing. So inshallah, if they can send the notes afterwards in Slido, I can see what I talked about. Please recite another salawat. Imam says, Bunyal Islam ala khams. The Islam, the bunyat, the usul, it is said, it is like kind of built up on 5 things. What? Ala salat, was zakat, was sawm, wal hajj, wal wilaya. Walam yunadu bishayin kama nudi bil wilaya. So, all of these things are important. What? Salat, zakat, sawm, hajj, and wilaya. Then he said, nothing is being called or being taught or instilled or emphasized, nothing in all these 5 more than walaya. So among these 5 things, the most important thing is what? Now I need some answers from brothers, because I see a little bit distraction. Ahsan. Please recite salawat for the brother. Allahumma sallam. Brothers, Imam Muhammad Baqir didn't say this to us so we can win a manadhara with our Sunni brother. No. And this is, na'uzubillah, what we usually do, to win an argument that I am right because I believe in the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. I use this hadith. We can use it, but not only for that. We have to use it for knowing Islam. That if I don't have the walaya, if I am not attached to Aimma alayhimus salam, even, now I'm going to go to those places where you can probably have some more questions, inshallah. Even our hajj, namaz, roza, zakat, of course they will crumble down too. That hadith is a big evidence that it should be done through Imam alayhi salam. And the aqli dalil of this is what? Why? Because when we were talking about the elevation of the nufus, we said that Aimma alayhimus salam, Imam is the nafs which is residing on the zenith of all these elevations and appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us and connect us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why we have in a hadith that Aimma alayhimus salam are known as Babullah as well. When you have a house, you have to enter house through a bab, through a door, and this is what the Sharif and right people do. They don't climb up the wall and go there, like na'uzubillah thieves. So you have to go in the house through a bab, through a door. To get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Aimma alayhimus salam or wilaya of Aimma alayhimus salam. But again, because it's really important, if you think that is a repetitive thing, please don't think it this way. Otherwise, we'll think that we repeat namaz and the same thing all the time. No. Every time, every day, every word of namaz, when you say, is a new word. Every alhamd, every bismillah of your new namaz is a new bismillah. It's not the repetition. If it would be repetition, it wouldn't be wajib on you. I say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in Fajr, and then I say it in Zuhr. I'm not repeating that Fajr Bismillah. I'm doing another Bismillah and doing a hamd and all the araki of namaz. It happens, it seems to us repetitive because we are not focused on these things. Brothers and sisters, our focus and our attention to these things is really important. Just to give you a small story, I know that I forgot this story, but inshallah I'm going to bring this story in the middle of our discussion. There was a full sun eclipse when, I don't know, like 15 years ago. It was some years ago here as well, right? At that time we were traveling, so I was not able to see it that way. I was in Pakistan, and we were in our house, and it was a total eclipse, and in the middle of the day, it was nighttime. So I was so kind of like became attentive to this, that this natural phenomena, that it was having some effects on me, in the way that what's happening here, how great this Allah is, that He's changing middle of the day into a night. But then I realized that, see, it is because it is something which is I don't have the adat of. I'm not used to it. That's why I became attentive to it. So it's not because I was attentive, it is something happened out of ordinary. But you know what, Urafa, whom we are talking about, for them, this each sunset and each sunrise is a source to get attention towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the difference here is this, that I'm ignorant, and this person, his, you can say antenna or 5G or whatever to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really powerful than me. His link to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far, far powerful than me, because I am just getting attentive to a natural phenomena, or through a natural phenomena to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it is out of an ordinary. While this person, like they said that Allama Tabatabai, even if he would see the bread on the sufra, the bread on the table, he would just think about something. It's gonna make him think about something. And he'll go through this bread he is about to eat to one who has created this bread, to one who has created him through this bread, to one who has created power in his body through this bread. That's the link when I was talking about this intellectual person has to make his intellect sharper. That's what it means. That when this person take this path, like Allama Tabatabai, and he became an Arifullah, he connect himself to Allah, his intellect became sharper. Not only because he wrote Tafsir al-Mizan, a great, awesome tafsir, which Shias can be proud of, and a lot of books, and a great scholar, both faqih and philosopher, and arif. So that's why they call Allama. So it was a really kind of a joke thing, and especially our Iranian teachers used to make joke with the Pakistanis that you guys have a lot of Allamas. But we, like in Hausa, the Allama is a person who has ilm, or who is an expert in different kinds of ulum. So Allama Tabatabai is an expert, or was an expert in different ulum. Or Allama Hassan Zada Amali was actually, he knew geometry and things like this too, like, you know, the science, the tangible science, or what you call that, the other sciences, other than religious sciences. So these people, and Hassan Zada Amali was an arif too. So they used this ilm and intellect to take them towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But just to pass this discussion, please recite a salawat. When you don't do that, when you don't connect yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are in a state of shak all the time. You're skeptical to everything happening in your life. You have shak that, you know what, Allah Ta'ala is not going to save me at the end of the day. Inshallah, none of us are like this, but if I don't follow these laws, I don't follow these rules that I have to get to Allah, I have to get to Allah through Aimma alayhi salam, I will be in a state of constant shak, a constant disbelief, a constant distrust. And it is not going to be on my individual level, but I will be living a life of distrust. Look at Muslims right now. We don't trust each other's brothers. We don't trust each other. You'll say, okay, yeah, well, if you are coming from Pakistan and you know what happened to Pakistan in few years, that you're supposed to just, have no trust to anyone. You shouldn't trust anyone, right? This is what they say. Sab chore, right? Sab chore means I don't trust anyone. When you are saying sab chore, you're actually indirectly you are. Sab chore means if anybody doesn't know Urdu, I think everybody knows Urdu here. They would be in the Urdu majlis right now, right? So everybody knows Urdu. I don't have to translate everything. Let's just say salawat. Unknowingly or indirectly, I am including myself as well. This is a psychological condition right now. I am saying sab chore, and I'm including myself there too, meaning that I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I do not trust my brother because I know he cannot trust me. And this is the society, this is the culture, not the society, culture we are living in. This is the culture we are living in, brothers and sisters. Forget about Pakistan, forget about Iran. You'll say, oh, it happens only in Islamic countries because, for obvious reasons. What happened here? There's a really old and Urdu mein kehte hain घिसी पिटी misal. Well, the parking here is good, but in the other places, you could go to a Walmart and you park between the lines, but you go to a center, you take 3 parking spots. Why? Because my BMW 5 Series or what series need at least 2 parking spots, so nobody can scratch my car, right? Where did we get this from? Islam? When we say it came from Muslim countries and Muslim society, Islam did this to us? Who did this to us? This disconnect did this to us. We don't believe in each other. We don't believe in who are our rulers, and they are taghut most of the places. And we stretch it to our religion. We don't believe in our religion. We don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come and help me out. There's one reason that I want Allah ta'ala to help me the way I want Him to help me. I was just talking to my brothers and I said that I just overheard some brother talking about his Hajj, and he said that Hajj was so difficult that he better give me sawab. So sometimes we do Hajj and we do namaz and everything, na'udhu billahi min dhalik, thinking that Allah better give me sawab for that. Or maybe again, he might be joking and this and that, but maybe from inside, I have to dissect my soul. I have to dissect where my soul is. Am I in the state of Ammara or Lawama, or where am I? Am I listening to Ammara right now? What the inner self of mine right now is? What's the shape of my inner self? Is an animal only? It's an insan, but he thinks that he has nothing to do with Allah. These things, these questions, we should ask ourselves. If it became really dry, please recite salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. It is dry. Don't worry about this. Say it's dry. But if it is useful, say another salawat louder than that. I can be a political leader too, right? So whatever I want to get it done, I get it done from your salawat. Please recite another salawat. Just mentioning this last hadith from Imam, and inshallah I'm gonna take your leave for today. Imam Ali says in Nahjul Balagha, there's a hikmat. In Nahjul Balagha we have like kalimat al-qisar, we have letters which Imams wrote to other people. We have khutbat are usually bigger, but these hikmat or the sentences or they say the hikmat of Nahjul Balagha. So this is the 30th hikmat of Nahjul Balagha, and in that hikmah, he actually defined different things with the four things. Like let's say the shirk has 4 types, or because of these 4 types, the shirk is there. The iman has the 4 types and stuff like this. So talking about shak, talking about raib, talking about disbelief, Imam says, Ash-shakku ala arba'a shu'ub. Shak has 4 branches. Ala tamari, number 1. Wal hawl, number 2. Wal taraddud, number 3. Wal istislam, number 4. So alhamdulillah, everybody knows Arabic. I don't have to translate, right? Even you cannot expect this from me. This is Imam Ali's kalamat, Baba. I was not able to find the explanation of his first kalama, but I got the translation of it. He says that the shak, the constant feeling of that kind of, because we are talking about distrust, is because of 4 things, or has 4 shu'ub, or 4 branches. First is al-tamari. What al-tamari means? That in Farsi or Urdu is called jadal or jidal. So when you talk to someone, or in English, the literal translation would be debate. You know what's the difference between a debate and an intellectual discussion? In debate, you believe something and you have to just defend it. So a person, taking the example of Shias, if I'm a Shia and I have to just defend Shia maslak without knowing it, I'll be a person who is debating to other people. Even if I have some shak, if I have some doubts, if I have some questions about Islam, about Shia Islam, I never learned them. I'm defending them. Why? Because, oh man, how can you challenge me? It's not Islam, it's me, right? Here. So al-tamari, a person who debates all the time, he's always in the shak. He cannot go, or you cannot engage him to an intellectual discussion where he can learn anything or teach anything. Number 2 is al-hawl. This is the same hawl we have in Urdu. Do you guys know this Urdu? I know my mother's from Lucknow, so I know a little bit better Urdu. Hawl means when I'm in the state of fear all the time. Urdu mein kehte hain na, hawl ho raha hai. I don't know anybody knows that. Only my age or the people above me. Please say salawat. A lot of words came from Arabic in Urdu. I'm really, in Farsi what they did, they kind of made the translation of it and didn't take it from Arabic. But in Urdu, you will be surprised to see that so many words we use in Urdu and they are Arabic in the same way, with the same meaning. So hawl is one of them. When this person who is in shak, he's always in the fear. He'll be always taking a seat back. Anybody, anything you can bring forward to him, he'll be afraid of it. 9/11 happened. The first thing I'm going to do, I'll ask my sister to take the hijab off. No questions asked. Would she be in problem again? Don't catch my tongue here and say, okay, Maulana, so can we do it or not? No. Why this first thing is coming in my mind? Because I'm afraid to my core, because I'm in the state of shak, because I'm in the state of disbelief, because I'm not connected to Allah, because I have no belief in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual help and spiritual strength. The third one is taraddud. It's really interesting, it's really good. Taraddud is, I think, present in Urdu and Farsi both. Taraddud is, if I'm not mistaken, is from rad. Rad means when you pass, I pass you guys, if I go on that end of the hall, I pass you brothers, right? Taraddud is like, I pass you, I come back. And then I pass you and I come back. So this person is always in a state of coming in and out of belief. That's what shak is, right? If 50% is belief, 50% I don't believe in it. That's what shak is. So he's always in taraddud. He's always, you ask him, brother, should we start this? I don't know. And again, because he is jadali, he is not intellectual, he cannot learn. He cannot teach. So he's got to stay in that state forever. And I wrote it here, and it's so true. Last but not least is istislam. What is istislam? If you remember, we were talking about Islam and we were talking about taslim, and we were saying that Islam means that you have to believe and accept everything Islam says, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. The istislam came from the same taslim. But here it means that I accept whatever is worth throwing at me. What does it mean? You will say, Maulana, you said that you should accept it and go forward with it because Allah is on your side. No. In this sense that, okay, if I'm living in an environment where the ghiba is so common, how I'm going to refute it? Doing ghiba. This auntie called me something else, I'm going to call her daughter something else on Facebook. I don't know, why do I get those examples? Please bring me the other brothers' examples as well. Please recite salawat. Or a brother, because it's actually, just to say that, the brothers don't get into this kind of fight. They just fight like, maybe that's the thing. If a brother is saying something for my whatever, my job, my children, my family, I'm going to go and say, okay, you know what? He did this. I'm not there to say, Baba, stop this vicious circle. You're bashing him, he's bashing you. You're bashing his family, his family bashing your family. Where are we going to end up? When I was mashallah, Ali Bhai and all the brothers who are doing this volunteer work, may Allah accept all these ibadah. I can imagine what they come across. Inshallah, not here, but that's what I've heard. That one volunteer was saying that on the Asr Ashur, I need to have dal chawal. If I don't have dal chawal, I'm not going to give you money. Why? Because my forefather and his forefather used to have dal chawal on Ashura, Asr Ashur, for faqa shikani. Baba, this dal chawal, this money, whom are you giving it to? Whom are you giving it to? But this is the culture we are living. If we cannot talk against these things, we are one of the mustaslims. Well, it became more difficult from istislam to mustaslim. A person who does istislam is mustaslim. What does it mean? That he accepts all the problems of the society and say, you know what? Nobody can change it. I'm not going to change it. We're going to go forward like this. That's it. Like brother gave the example that somewhere, maybe not here, somebody did a furada namaz Jummah because there was no Surah Munafiqun on the second rakah. So he thought that, okay, if there's no Surah Munafiqun, so he read a namaz which cannot be read furada, he did that. Why? Because I don't want to follow Shariat. I might be attached to my center, I might be attached to my culture so much so that I can challenge Islam. I can challenge Sharia. I'm so sorry about this, I didn't see the time. And I don't know, the alarm is going to be out in like few minutes, right? So inshallah, I'm going to finish this majlis soon with the Masaib, because the Masaib today are about a person who did exactly opposite what Imam Ali said. Why? Because he was the waris of Imam Ali. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله الآخر الأحد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Abbas ibn Ali is the representative of the shuja'at and ita'at of his father. They said in Siffin, Imam Ali was stopping Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein to go and fight. And people were saying, why are you stopping your sons? You don't want to give your sons for Allah? He said, no. They are not my sons, that's why I'm stopping them. They are the sons of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of course you know that Imam was preserving other Imams for Islam. But for his own son, he was preparing him for Karbala. He got married to a special and specific woman from a specific tribe, so he would have Abbas ibn Ali representing him on the day of Ashura. The biggest thing, I was just reading that anybody, even amongst Shuhada Karbala, when they see the status of Abbas ibn Ali in paradise, in heaven, they envy him. They just do the ghibta with him. They think that, kash, we would be on that status. Even the Shuhada Karbala. The book I was reading, the alim was saying his status is above than every shaheed, including Hazrat Hamza and Jafri Tayyar. Why? And he gave the example. He gave the example of Sulaiman Farisi. When they were grabbing Imam Ali and they were taking, and after what did they do with the door of Bibi Fatima? Salman didn't ask this question, but he had this question in his mind and his heart, that why Imam Ali is not avenging Bibi Fatima. And the alim wrote that Abbas ibn Ali didn't have even this kind of question in Karbala about Imam Hussein. You imagine that somebody is coming to Abbas and asking, or Imam Hussein, and asking that you cannot pitch your tent near Farath and you have to go. You can imagine what Abbas would do. But what did Abbas do? He listened and he obeyed. Abbas is nothing bigger than his shujat, bigger than his nisbat to Imam Ali and Imam Hussein, was his itaat of his Imam. It is really hard, brothers and sisters, really hard for a person like Abbas to hear al-atash, al-atash, and sit down and listen to what his Imam is asking him. It's really hard that from the beginning of Ashura, from the morning, he wanted to go and fight and repel these enemies, these animals, away from his Maula, away from his Imam, but he was not given the permission. Why? Because Imam would say, Abbas, you are the leader of my army. Leaders go at the end. Until the end, when he came, when there was nobody there, ulama say that he came to Imam Hussein, asked for his permission. Imam said, you are leader of my army. Abbas looked on his left side. Abbas looked on his right side and said, "Which army you're talking about, O my Imam? Everybody has left." Even at that time, I don't know what was the Mashiach of Allah. Ulama say that Imam Hussein said, "Okay, I can let you go and fight, but before you go to fight, go and get some water for the children because they are really thirsty." Brothers and sisters, Abbas didn't go to a battlefield to fight. He went there to get water. And he got the water in the way that they say that he got there, and when Abbas is coming with his arms intact, attached to his body, nobody can dare get close to him. So he easily made his way to Furat. He was really thirsty. He wanted to drink water. He took the water out and threw it back to the river and said, "I'm really thirsty. Oh my nafs, I'm really thirsty. I know you're really thirsty. But Imam Hussein is thirstier than me." I don't know what was the thirst of Imam Hussein, brothers and sisters. I don't know how many days he didn't drink water. More than that, Abbas asked his horse to drink water, but when the horse saw that his Maula, Abbas, is not drinking water, he didn't drink the water. Abbas fills the water bag and he comes back. But again, Abbas ibn Ali, even when he's carrying the water, his arms are still intact and attached. Nobody can dare come close to Abbas. The only thing the enemies can do to strike him with the arrows or hide behind the trees and cut his arms. And that's what they did. They cut his right arm, brothers and sisters. He took the water bag on his left arm. They cut his left arm by hiding behind the tree. He took the water bag in his teeth. Now, one mission which his Imam has given him was to take the water to the children of Ahlul Bayt. Abbas takes this water bag in his teeth, but the enemies know that what the intention of Abbas is. Enemies know that before we behead Abbas, we have to pierce this water bag. That's what they did. And when they pierced the water bag, brothers and sisters, the water didn't spill out of the water bag, but the blood came out of Abbas' body. Abbas said, "There's no use of going back because my Maula asked me to do one thing, and I'm so sharminda that I am not gonna go back." Abbas goes back to fight with these enemies, but remember that he has no arms. You know what happened? The enemies were throwing arrows at him. One arrow strikes his eye, and the Abbas, he's trying to take this arrow out from his cut hands, from his arms. When he put his head down, they hit it with a mace, hit it with a gurz, and they smashed his head. And at that time, Abbas came down and said, "Ya Kha, Adrika Kha." Imam, flee towards Abbas. But I'm wrong. Imam, flee for Qasim. Imam, flee for Akbar. But they said when Imam Hussein heard Abbas's voice, he said, "Al-an ankasara dhari." Now my back is broken, O Abbas. I cannot come. How can I come? Brothers and sisters, go to Karbala. Go to Bain al-Haramain. Abbas didn't go back to Haram. Abbas was so shy, was so sharminda that he didn't go back to Haram. But he has created Bain al-Haramain for us. So we do the ziyarat of Imam Hussein from Haram Abbas in the niyabat of Abbas. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيُّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ مَاتَمِ حُسَيْنٍ.
Ya Hussein, आया है आलम और आलमदार नाया, आया है علمدار نایا دریا سے دل حیدر کرار نایا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا غیرات کا تقاضا ہے علمدار کی ہستی غیرات کا تقاضا ہے علمدار کی ہستی بچی سے شرم سار وفادار نایا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا پانی کے لیے بہ جا علمدار کو شہ نے پانی کے لیے بھیجا علمدار کو شہ نے افسوس مسلمانوں کو اعتبار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکیزہ اٹھایا بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکیزہ اٹھایا نزدیک کوئی شیر کے ایک بار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکیزہ دبایا بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکیزہ دبایا جب مشک چدی پھر وہ حیادار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا بازو تھا جو شبیر کے بے بازو ہوا وہ بازو تھا جو شبیر کے بے بازو ہوا وہ بے دست وہ دست شاہ ابرار نہ آیا یا ہے علم اور علمدار نہ آیا یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین
Oh Bash, you are my uncle, oh Bash, you are my brother, oh Bash, you are my son, like you there was no other. You went to search for water, you searched far and wide. You went for your brother's daughter, and you searched for her, you died. Oh, where has my Abbas gone? 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 You hear the thirsty children, you hear the men you hurt. Their hopes are slowly dimming, so you ride out to Farat. Your brother was your master, before him you never drink. To Farat you rode much faster, for Rakaya you only think. Oh, where has my Abbas gone? 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 The thirst, how it pains them, you hear it in your mind. Al-Tahash, Uncle Abbas, where were they so unkind? Your musk is full of water, you turn to the camp of sand. You're bringing this for his daughter, but you never see her again. Oh, where has my Abbas gone? 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 Oh, Yazid, may Allah curse you, you denied Hussein's mother. You killed his 6-month son and you tortured a little daughter. Shackled and abused her, look, earrings have now gone. She asked her head for his father, where has my Abbas gone? 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 Where has my Abbas gone?
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
متوجہ زیارت. السلام علیکم یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم حبیب اللہ، السلام علیکم علی ولی اللہ وسیع رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم خدیجۃ الکبریٰ ام المؤمنین، السلام علیکم فاطمۃ الزہراء سیدۃ نساء العالمین، السلام علیکم حسن مجتبیٰ سبط رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم حسین شہید بکربلا، السلام علیکم علی بن الحسین زین العابدین، السلام علیکم محمد بن علی الباقر، السلام علیکم جعفر بن محمد الصادق، السلام علیکم موسیٰ بن جعفر الکاظم، السلام علیکم علی بن موسیٰ الرضا، السلام علیکم محمد بن علی التقی، السلام علیکم علی بن محمد النقی، السلام علیکم حسن بن علی العسکری، السلام علیکم خلف القائم المہدی المنتظر، عجل اللہ تعالی فرجک وسہل اللہ تعالی مخرجک وظہورک وجعلنا من انصارک واعوانک جميعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. اللہم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. اللہم کن لولیک الحجۃ ابن الحسن صلواتک علیہ وعلی آبائہ فی هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات الله.